Live from the NJ.com studio comes the only weekly TV podcast you'll need, where a lofty critic squares off with an obsessed superfan on everything from highbrow drama to lowbrow reality. The cocktail shaker is ready. Prepare for your TV hangover. Now, your hosts, Vicki Hyman and Erin Medley.
Hello and welcome to TV Hangover. I'm your host, Erin Medley, along here with my lovely, lovely co-host, Vicki Hyman. Vicki, we're on Periscope right now.
We're on Periscope. Hi.
Hello, people.
Hey.
You can follow us on Twitter and on Periscope at TV Hangover Show. I'm at E_meds, and Vicki is at Vicki High, VICKIHY.
Whose handle I was inspired by Amy Kuperinsky. At Amy Coop, AMYKUP, right over there.
That's right. We have a guest in studio today. Amy Kuperinsky is here to talk with Vicki about the X-Files, because I don't watch that. Sorry.
I sometimes I say you should, but I don't really know if you should.
We'll have to see. Amy, how are you doing?
Good. I recommend that if you want to watch the X-Files, you start at the beginning.
No, not doing that.
Talking way too loud, Amy. Take your earphones.
Oh, I'm screaming. This is the first time.
I love it. She's a newbie, so it's fine. It's fine. Guys, we survived Blizzard of 2016,
but not Jonas.
We're not
allowed to call it Jonas.
It's not Jonas is not a real thing.
It's not a real thing.
Let's break this down because it's semi-TV related. People, listen to me. Winter storms are not named. Period. That's it. National Weather Service doesn't do it. It's the Weather Channel. The Weather Channel is trolling us all by naming these storms.
They're trying to be cute.
They're trying to market the Weather Channel. And I'm not falling for it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God, look at us. We're on Periscope.
Okay, yes, but the people on the podcast can't see us right now.
Okay, sorry.
Moving on. Vicki, while the snowstorm was happening, I took that time when I wasn't managing NJ.com's homepage.
In those 3 minutes,
Yes, in those 3 minutes to binge watch some shows.
I know. I have to say, you told me what shows, and tears almost came to my eyes. I was so happy that you were watching these shows that I've been talking about for so long.
My only thought was, what would Vicki Hyman do?
And Vicki Hyman would definitely watch Jessica Jones had she not already watched Jessica Jones.
Well, I actually started with Daredevil because I know that everyone had been talking about that show, and I was like, all right, if everyone's talking about it, I'll watch it. It was all right. Yeah. I watched the pilot. I was like, meh, okay, I'll get back to it.
I actually stopped halfway through, and I keep meaning to go back into it, and I haven't. You can still appreciate Jessica Jones without it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So then I switched to Jessica Jones, which is the Kristen Ritter show, another Marvel superhero, and I really liked it.
It's great.
I like the tone. It's serious, but it's not super serious. She's a superhero, but she doesn't wear a superhero costume, and they don't really talk about her being a superhero so much in that first episode. She sleeps with a black guy, which I really enjoyed.
Did you get to that episode already?
She slept with him in the pilot.
Was it the pilot?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I watched it so quickly it all
and
ran
then they
together.
slept together again.
It was like some serious. It was like, whoa.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Because I've talked to some of my friends who are like, oh, can I watch it with my daughter? And I'm like, I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm on the third episode.
Okay.
So I've seen the big bad. Whatever his name is, I can't remember.
Kilgrave.
Yeah, Kilgrave.
Very subtle there.
Yes, very. So that's the episode I'm on. I'm digging it. I will finish it. How many episodes do I have to watch? 10?
I think it's 10 episodes.
All right, I can do that. I also started watching Shameless.
I'm so happy.
I know that you love it. The pilot, lots of naked Emmy Rossum.
Yes.
I mean, lots.
Throughout.
More than I needed.
Throughout.
I would say. Is she the star of that show? Or
yeah, she really is. She's like the heart of the show. I mean, William H. Macy is the one who's gotten a couple of Emmy nominations off it, and he's very good, but he's not the star of it.
Okay.
It's Emmy Rossum.
It did seem like she was the star. Now, my most important question, and this may determine whether or not I continue watching, the hot guy she meets in the club.
Yes. Justin Chatwin, right?
Is he
is that his name?
Is he only on for a few episodes? Or he's a regular character?
He's there. He's there for a couple of seasons.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah,
that's all I need.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my one thing.
The show is not lacking in hot men.
Okay,
I will say that.
Well, that's my number one criteria for most things. Did you binge watch anything?
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, I'm binge watching stuff that is going to be coming on, and I watched the first 3 episodes of 11/22/63, which I've been talking about a lot. It's the Stephen King miniseries that's going to be on Hulu, based on a work of speculative fiction. Some guy goes back, James Franco goes back in time trying to prevent the JFK assassination, and I'm enjoying it. It's not blowing my mind like I thought it would, but I'm enjoying it. It's pretty straightforward.
Is James Franco good? Oh wow,
he's fine. I kind of wish it was a different actor.
Do you think
just me.
Do you think James Franco has ever received a review that said anything other than he's fine?
Well, I think he was great in Freaks and Geeks. He was very good in 127 Hours. Where he gnawed off his hand. No, he cut off his hand and gnawed off his hand.
Oh, right. I forgot that piece of work.
Yeah, so it's like, it's James Franco. As I said, he's just got this like smarminess I can't escape, and the character is not supposed to be like that. But what I really actually got into was watching the screeners for The People versus O.J. Simpson.
Oh, the show that a couple weeks ago you said looked like a Lifetime movie.
It did. And it was really, really weird. I watched the first episode like a while back. It was the one I was most excited about watching. And I thought like, it had like this really weird tone to it, like a little Lifetimey, like a little serious, a little funny. And I was really put off by it. And then I watched the next 3 episodes and I remembered that's what it was like. The OJ thing had all those elements. It was tragic and it was, not funny. It was right. But I mean, it was crazy.
It had its moments.
It had
its characters.
It did. And I did say the caveat was that the show is really about the legal maneuverings. And of course, the first episode was just they're dead, and from he's dead to start of the Bronco chase. Okay. And so it didn't really get into that. And once it has gotten into that, it is very entertaining to watch. You've got a great cast of people. You have Evan Handler, unrecognizable, playing Alan Dershowitz, John Travolta playing a very mannered Robert Shapiro, David Schwimmer growing on me as Robert Kardashian, and
that's how those Kardashians get you.
They grow on you like a fungus.
Absolutely.
Like a fungus.
Totally.
So yeah, I actually am going to end up probably giving it a pretty good review.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Now I'm back to being excited about watching it because it
starts next week.
A little turned off. Oh, good. Okay. And the Madoff.
You watched that. You watched the first episode.
I did watch most of the first episode. And that is, of course, about Bernie Madoff, who, ran the biggest Ponzi scheme in the history of the United States. And you know what? I don't feel any sympathy for the guy. Like, you're watching it and you're kind of just like, okay.
Are you supposed to, you think? Are they trying to make us feel it? Because he sort of came off as a sociopath in the previews, in the trailers.
I don't think I got to that part yet, but you could see that he knew what he was doing. Yeah. Like, that's the one thing that you realize, and that his sons didn't know what they were doing. I think a lot of people think that his sons, because they worked at the company, were in on it, and they were not in on it, and he purposefully tried to keep them away from that part of the business. So, I mean, look, we'll see if people will respond to it. I thought it was okay. It looks like an ABC movie.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. Amy?
Yes, I also binged. Apart from watching episodes of The X-Files that I've definitely seen many times in anticipation of the next episode and the premiere, I basically dipped my toe into Mozart in the Jungle. And there's not that many episodes, so it was easy to get through it.
And they're only like 25 minutes each.
Yeah, and it was probably unlike anything I've seen in a long time.
It was like great.
Yeah, it was.
I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, right?
Because
I had started watching it because I'm like, it got a couple of Golden Globe nominations. Maybe it's pretty good. I don't know. And I really enjoyed it. It's so easy to watch.
Yeah, it is. I would say there's not a lot of kind of action and suspense or anything. It's not making murder. It's not that kind of thing. It's definitely whimsical, I would say. If you like kind of outlandish, kind of big characters, then he does a great job in that. Bernal and
Gael Garcia Bernal.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of other good actors in it. What did you
it's
like
a great
about
ensemble.
it?
I mean, it's a great ensemble cast. It's a world that I'm unfamiliar with,
right.
And so I really enjoyed seeing people who are so devoted to doing something really, really well. And the music is beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, Saffron Burrows plays a cellist, who's a very interesting character.
Right.
And it's just really interesting and light and fun, and I love it.
So the next Snowstorm, that's what I should binge watch.
I don't know if you'll like it.
What?
It kind of meanders. It's not a straightforward thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
it's not very plotty, and
you
it's
might like it.
yeah, but
All right,
it's
we'll
fun.
see. Maybe I'll watch one. It's half an hour?
It's like not even half an hour.
Oh,
It's
okay.
10 episodes each season, and Bernadette Peters should sing more. I'm sorry.
Bernadette
Wait,
Peters, I was so
Bernadette Peters
excited
is
to
on
see
it?
her.
Bernadette
yeah.
Peters, oh my God, she is insane. She's like,
Yeah.
you know, like she's like 70
I
years
mean,
old almost.
She doesn't look it at all.
She's
No, she's
wearing like
amazing.
strapless gowns and looking better than I looked when I was like 14.
Well, let's talk about
oh my
burying
God.
the lead. If you're going to
sorry.
hype any show, you should start with
That was just
Bernadette.
one of
But
my
she doesn't
favorites,
sing.
yeah.
It
It doesn't
sing.
matter. I love Bernadette Peters either
Maybe
way.
she will.
No, she does. She sings like once in the second season.
Okay.
But yeah, she's great.
All right, well, let's get to the news of the week. Deadline reports that Showtime's Billions has been renewed for a second season. The premiere episode of the Wall Street drama starring Damian Lewis and Paul Giamatti snagged 6.5 million multi-platform viewers, setting a record made in 2013 by Ray Donovan, or beating that record, I assume. 6.5 million is a lot of viewers.
It is. They did a huge push for this, though, and they released the episode early. So we're talking about, like, I guess it's cumulative, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Because I think the first episode came out beginning of January. I'm not surprised. I mean,
But you didn't love it.
I didn't love it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was going to be better than it was because of the cast. As I said, I think the real star of it is Maggie Siff, who plays Damian Lewis, the hedge fund. No, I'm sorry. Paul Giamatti, who's the U.S. attorney.
Oh,
she
right.
plays his wife, and she plays the basically performance guru for Damian Lewis, who runs the hedge fund that Paul Giamatti's character is investigating or starting to investigate. She's like the linchpin, much more interesting than this pissing match. This like nonstop pissing match between Paul Giamatti and Damian Lewis.
So now that you know that it's been renewed for a second season, are you going to finish the first?
I'm probably going to. I mean,
right.
like, you know, I got 4 episodes in. I was interested enough. I swear, if pissing continues, and on a lot of levels, and those of you who have seen the episodes know what I'm talking about, I don't know if I'll continue.
All right, well, we'll see. In casting news, Woodline, I can't read today. Woody Allen tells Deadline, see what I did there? That some casting has begun on his 6 half-hour episode series for Amazon. The series, written, directed, and starring Allen, I mean, really, will be set in the 60s. Elaine May, and get this, Miley Cyrus will be among the cast.
Okay.
Shooting begins in March.
I
I mean, Miley Cyrus is a fine actress.
fine, though,
Fine.
I think is the word. She's
Right.
fine. Woody Allen can work with almost anybody.
True.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, it's, you know, he can get any A-list talent he wants. I don't know if A-listers like, you know, Cate Blanchett want to go to, you know, Amazon. But, you know, Miley Cyrus actually surprised me a little bit in the Bill Murray Christmas special. A little acting, a little singing, a little dancing didn't annoy me.
she does it all.
Yeah, I think her tongue was not
little
out the entire
twerking.
time.
I see that too.
Yeah, I mean, like, really, I was like, okay, Miley, okay.
Okay.
But,
George Clooney was the best in that.
He was absolutely the best, especially his slow jam with Barry White. That thing, that was great.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of don't get that.
I will see. Also in casting news, Corey Hawkins, star of The Walking Dead and Straight Outta Compton, has been cast as the male lead in 24 Legacy, the network's reboot of their famous action franchise. Isn't this like the second? I mean, this is a reboot, but didn't 24 come back last season?
It came back as like a TV movie, so it was
Oh,
But it's
shorter.
still
Yeah.
the same people.
yeah, still the same
right.
people.
This is a whole new cast.
This is a whole new cast, and it's going to be more ensemble-y, I think, than 24 was supposed to, like, Jack against the world.
Right. And well, this Corey Hawkins guy, doesn't he play a character on? Well, from what I hear, you know, I don't watch The Walking
He
Dead.
does play a character. He plays a good character,
That-
one who I would like to keep around, and The Walking Dead is not known for keeping its African-American characters intact.
But from what I hear, if you've read the comic books, he stays around for a while. But how can he stay around and shoot this show at the same time?
I don't really know. I mean, like, the good thing is that I think 24 is not going to be, I think it's going to be 12 hours long, so it's not going to be exactly 24. And The Walking Dead is only 12 episodes or so. And so I think you can shoot both.
But why does this even have to be 24 Legacy? Like, why does everything have to be a reboot? Like, did you hear they're coming out with a Nancy Drew series.
Yes.
But, like, she goes by the name Drew, and she works for the NYPD, and she's going to be like
a police dog.
Yeah, and she's going to be like a minority. That's not Nancy Drew. Like, can we just call it something else?
I mean, look at anything. Look at Broadway. I mean, like, you can't do anything unless it's a revival, because people need to have, because people are stupid, I guess. I'm sorry. Aww. They need to have, they need to know
Twin
something,
Peaks.
they need to be comfortable with something in order for it to, it needs to come in with a hit. You can't just put something out there and hope it finds an audience.
I guess. I don't know. I think that networks are getting a little lazy there.
Yeah, I think so too. Little House on the Prairie is apparently getting a new movie, so, there you go.
What?
Yes, I just read it this morning.
Oh, Lord. Well, speaking of reboots and bringing back things that people are familiar with, the X-Files returned.
Smooth.
Thank you. I've been doing this for 19 episodes. Yeah. The X-Files has returned, and Vicki, you and Amy are both fans of the show.
Amy much more so than I.
Amy's a super fan in this case.
No offense, Amy. Just gave me an nasty look.
It's a compliment.
I am not that big of a fan at all, but I will leave you ladies to talk about it. But first, let's listen to a clip.
Mulder, I'm not a fragile little girl.
Scully.
This is what you suspected all along, but were afraid to articulate. Is this what you believe happened to me 15 years ago? When I got pregnant, when I had my baby? Was I just an incubator?
You're never just anything to me, Scully.
Do you ever think about William?
Yes. Of course I do, but I feel like I've had to put that behind me.
He'd be 15 years old now. And I've missed every single year of his life. Sometimes I hate myself that I didn't have the courage to stand by him.
You did what you did to keep him safe. His adoption is secret, his location is unknown because you had to protect him.
Do you believe he was an experiment?
I don't know.
What if he's out there somewhere?
I would just like to say, before you guys get into this conversation, that was some of the most wooden acting I have ever seen. I thought it was terrible. And mind you, I've never watched the X-Files, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but I was like, are they just going through the motions or what? This is so bad.
Well, I mean, David Duchovny has a famously laconic acting style. I mean, he kind of always sounds like he's sleepwalking.
But they both did.
She's a little like, I don't know, cold is the word for clinical.
No, reserved.
She's clinical.
I would say she's never really kind of like, overblowing. Like, she's just kind of, I think for fans, they would recognize that as being normal, but especially for Mulder. But for her, that was actually, she was kind of like really on edge at that point. Even if, if you come in and you don't see that, if you know the backstory, you know how much they don't talk about this. They never talk about it. So the fact that they even addressed it was like huge. And the fact that he said, you're never just
anything to me, Scully. Oh my God. Oh my God. Remember when we first discussed this? I said that their chemistry, like seeing them together again, made my ovaries twitch.
Which was
disgusting. I know.
Really bad.
But it's like, for me, the show was about their chemistry. That's why I basically stopped watching it when, he went off in the last season. David Duchovny left. Yeah. I mean, for me, that's what the show is about. I like the Monsters of the Week and everything. I don't really like the whole mythology overarching thing. I'm not crazy about that. But for me, that was from the second episode, and that really did it for me.
And of course, they're talking about their son, William, which, we haven't heard much about him at all. It's been a long time, and we got these things that look like flashbacks, but they aren't. They're actually just kind of dream sequences or what they would like to happen or what they wish would have happened.
Raising your son.
Yeah, raising him because he's been taken, he's been given away. We were not really sure, where he is and who he's living with. But they haven't addressed this in quite a while.
So the show is real. There's two things going on with the show that people are invested in. One, what's going to happen with, what is going on with the chemistry. They're watching it for that. And they're watching it to see whether the show can just recapture just the general feeling of, why did you watch the X-Files?
Well, it's definitely the interplay between the two. I mean, if you just had a show about Mulder, I feel like it would really go off the rails. And if it was just Scully, I mean, everything would just be explained away. And you might not take those leaps that he takes. But you need both. You need the science, because I think that's what people think is really cool about, the grounding it in some kind of reality, even though, scientists might say, no, these things are far-flung. But I think that the interplay between the two, and then also how their relationship has changed now, is key, because it took me a while to get used to it. The fact that they're now exes, which is awkward, and they used to always sort of be on the edge of maybe getting together for most of the series' life. So that is something that the tension kept it together. I felt like hung everything together, and that was really compelling. The what you might call sexual tension, or just sort of their flirting. They always have these sort of little one-liners, and now it can be schmaltzy, because you have this sort of emo, like, you're never just this to me, and like it's very in your face. But for a long time, fans, they're like, finally we got it, we got this,
even though you
emotion.
missed the whole middle part where they actually had sex, apparently.
Right, yeah. Well, of course you can't see that, but
I'm hoping. I'm holding out hope.
The X-Files is all about,
I want to believe, Amy,
is all about showing and telling. Yeah, she wants to believe it. Well, if they had a child, you have to believe something happened, though could have been embryo implanted, right?
Yeah.
There's that idea, but there was also the very strong suggestion that they had been together in that sort of way in at least one of the episodes.
So for people who are listening now, Amy and I have both have recapped both the first and the second episodes. We did not like the first episode, the premiere. It was just Mulder going off the rails, very spoofy, very weird, but it got better in the second episode when it sort of started to revert back to Monster of the Week. Yes. The second episode was Monday night. Pretty interesting. It also, as you said earlier, it was sort of a Monster of the Week within the framework of their relationship and the mythology.
Right, which was interesting, because a lot of the Monster of the Week episodes are just sort of specifically about that werewolf, that vampire, whatever they're kind of bringing into the plot, and it's not so much about them, except for when they have that, back and forth, that banter that they have. But now it was about, their son that they lost, and it was about, many other things, genetic manipulation. There was, it was called Founder's Mutation. It was about,
we had a lot of creepy kids, like really horrific mutations that they had, which is like very much old school X-Files.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, I cannot
very
watch
much
that.
Fits in with the mythology of the show, with alien DNA being the most recent thing.
But it didn't really hang together in the end, because I think they were doing too much.
Yeah.
I think in the second episode.
It was kind of all over the place.
Yes. And
but
it never
not
really,
as much as the first episode.
Yeah, not as much as the first episode. I didn't really feel like it ever got really resolved in the end, right. Like what was going on.
The case keeps getting taken away from them, which is interesting, because the assistant director of at the FBI, that is their supervisor, Walter Skinner, for a long time, he was their sort of guardian, their mentor, someone who kind of went to bat for them. He is now telling them, okay, well, now this is not our jurisdiction, but kind of with a wink saying, okay, find out what you can before I file this report. I have 2 days. So he's helping them without helping them on the record. So it's kind of in keeping with what he's done in the past, but also we're seeing that they do not have free reign like they used to for much of the series as FBI agents.
And the third episode next week is supposedly going to be a return to the glory days of the X-Files Monster of the Week. Oh, where monster?
The Weremonster.
The Weremonster.
That is supposedly the Monster of the Week. I haven't seen it, but I have very high hopes for it, because we know that it's written by one of the best X-Files writers, who is Darren Morgan. He actually, believe it or not, played Fluke Man.
I heard that. I read that in your story. Did I not?
Yeah, he played Fluke Man in the infamous Newark episode of the show, where there is a very, really crazy looking fluke worm / man terrorizing the sewers of New Jersey that came over on a Russian freighter. Anyway, besides being known for that,
as one does, just another Sunday,
you wouldn't know that he played that character, but he's also a great writer. He wrote some of the greatest funny, I would say, episodes of the show, including Jose Chung, like everything that you can imagine is just kind of really witty and self-parody without, it's intentionally this time.
In a good way.
Yeah, not like the first episode where I was saying it was like an episode of 24 where it just wouldn't stop and it was all over the place. The conspiracy kept mounting and mounting and you didn't have time to catch your breath. But this one should be more pacing, and which is great, because when you can slow it down, then you really get a great story with a lot of nuance.
Pacing is a good thing,
Yes.
you're saying. Okay.
So I think that it's pretty clear you both will be watching the rest of the episodes of the X-Files. There's 6, right?
6
episodes, and you'll be doing your Periscope recaps.
Whatever works. We're trying different things.
On NJ.com, so NJ.com/entertainment for both Vicki and Amy's opinions on this new season of the X-Files. Ladies, I still won't be watching, but I know you will be. Also coming up this weekend on Fox, Grease Live.
Now, you are to Grease what Amy is to the X-Files.
Absolutely. Grease is my favorite movie. I've said it here many times. I have seen the Broadway musical, which is slightly different, but I have a feeling that Fox is going to go more movie than musical. Because there are some songs in the movie that are not in the musical, and you can't leave them out. But Vicki, I have this concern, and I've had it since the beginning. Grease is not a family-friendly musical.
Yes. Well, they discussed this at the Television Critics Association.
Fill us in.
So what they're going to... There are basically 2 issues, really. I mean, there's the whole pregnancy thing. Rizzo is still going to think she's pregnant in the movie. In the
live show.
In the live show. There's Grease Lightning, which has a couple of risque lyrics.
P-Wagon.
Yes, which they have changed. They have changed it. So there will be no P-Wagon.
Blasphemy.
Yes, they have changed it, and they assure us that we're going to love it. We're going to love it. But you know what they left in?
Pony Wagon?
I don't know. I don't know what they changed it to. They did not change in, did she put up a fight?
Right.
No, they did not change that. And they're hoping that people will just take that, in the... I don't know,
way.
in the nice, non-rapey way with which it was intended. I don't know.
There will be blog posts about
Yes.
What are there worse things I could do?
I don't know about that one, but I don't really have a problem with that song.
All right.
Yeah.
A hickey from Kaniki, can I
think that's
that?
fine.
All right, if I'm just
I
checking.
don't know if kids will even know what hickeys are. Yeah. Or Kaniki.
True. I am so excited about this. But one of my other concerns is the fact that they are shooting this in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah.
That's going to be a little weird. Like, are they going to tell people not to clap, or will they clap? Because I don't want to feel like I'm watching Broadway on TV. Like, I just don't get that. And I know that's a thing that people do, but I don't understand.
I know that they have like a lot of different sets, and so maybe the studio audience set will be things where, like the sock hop, where it makes sense to have people out there, like on the bleachers, whatever. I don't exactly know how that's going to be handled.
Right.
But I am looking forward to it being less static than, say, The Wiz was, which I really liked, but I wanted to be more wowed by the sets, by the staging of it. Cirque du Soleil was involved, and I kind of wasn't. But, just the performances made up for it, like in The Wiz.
Well, I'm very excited about this. I cannot wait until we talk about it next week, which reminds me, even though the show's not over, we will be recording on Monday next week so that we can
get it to
talk
you
about
fresh.
it, of course, right after it happens. So you can listen to TV Hangover next week on Monday instead of our normal Wednesday. But I will be right there. I'll be tweeting along, and I'll be snapping and singing. And
you don't think people are, like, looking at this like they did with Peter Pan, like looking to savage it, do you?
No. Honestly, I don't think the buzz is there like the buzz has been there for the NBC live shows. And I have a bad feeling about the ratings.
Oh.
I mean, look, I'll watch, of course. But I'm only one, and I just don't think that many people will be watching. The one good thing it has going for it is that there's no football this weekend.
There is no football.
So
yes, there's not a whole heck of a lot on.
There's not much happening. And now we're going to move on to my new favorite segment of the TV Hangover podcast. It's time for the Bachelor quiz. And we have so many good clips, and Amy's here, and Amy also
Join
does
in,
not watch
please.
The Bachelor. So I'm keeping score this week. We'll see who's going to come away with the victory. I have 5 questions, and here is the first one. There was a set of identical twins on the show until Ben gave one of them the boot. Which twin was sent home this week? It's a 50-50, guys.
Okay.
The choices are Haley or Emily. Vicki?
Well, I always go for the trashiest, so I have to figure out, is Haley more trashy than Emily? And they're both not trashy names.
So what are you going to do?
I'm going to go for Haley.
All right, Amy?
I would say Haley, too.
All right, let's hear the clip.
Being here today has been really nice for me to see. This is a unique situation because of just how much I do care for you and for you. And I think
And for
in order
you.
to be intentional about, like, relationships from here on out, and to try to make things work and to figure out if things are going to work.
Dramatic pause.
I'm going to have to say goodbye to Haley.
Oh.
Correctamundo.
Was there, I mean, did he get a chance to distinguish between the two?
You know what? I can't distinguish between the two, so I don't know how he.
But he had each of them separate. I mean, not had.
No,
he was with each one of them separately.
Well,
I don't mean it like that either.
He didn't go on one-on-one dates with them separately, but they were in group dates separately.
Okay,
that makes sense. Also, I want to point out that they were in their mother's home.
What were they doing in their mother's home?
Because the town they went to visit, that's where they're from, and so
they're already on visits.
No, the town that the whole
okay, gotcha,
is where the twins were from, and so he decided to break up with Haley in her mom's house so that she would have a support system.
That's classy.
When he left,
God,
and he literally said that. All right, anyway,
so he just left her there.
Yes.
Wow.
Right.
Like, I wish it's better than I think like the one moment of The Bachelor I have watched where he left the New Jersey girl. Oh, I think it was Ashley like left her like in the middle of the Badlands in South Dakota. So it's better than that, I guess.
And then she was on Naked and Afraid now. All right, so that's 1-1. Question number 2. The Bachelor is known for taking the show on the road. What romantic locale did The Bachelor and his babes jet off to on this week's episode? Your choices are A, Lake Tahoe, B, Las Vegas, or C, Denver.
I'm going to go with Denver because it seems incredibly not romantic, but maybe there's some sort of partnership with Coors that they toured a beer factory. I don't know.
Amy?
I guess I'll say Lake Tahoe then.
You're both wrong.
What is it? Las Vegas, because that's incredibly romantic.
Because there's nothing more romantic than the Las Vegas Strip. Oh, our producer Anthony is so PO'd about this.
He got married in Vegas.
It's his spot. Look, Anthony, I'm just saying. If I'm going to go on a date with 13 women, I don't know if I'm taking them well, actually. Yeah. Now that we think about it, Vegas is the spot. All right, question number 3. Last week, Olivia revealed to Ben that she had cankles.
Yes.
We had a great moment here on the show with that one. This week, she revealed what? A, she has fat feet. B, she was once a stripper. Or C, she's falling for Ben.
Well, I mean, isn't everybody falling for Ben? I think this is a trick question, Amy.
I
mean, doesn't that go without saying?
You can have fat feet, so I'm very puzzled by this. I mean, I have flat feet, but that's different.
I have flat feet too.
Yeah, so lots of flat feet.
New podcast.
I don't know. Maybe I'll just say that
orthotics.
she's falling for him because that seems something like they all say all the time.
What was the second one?
The second one was she was once a stripper.
Well, I think they were all also once a stripper. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to go for the fat feet.
Fat feet for Vicki.
I looked at him in the eye and I was like, I am falling for you. I'm back.
Amy, you're falling for him.
I told him I'm falling for him.
Because you're falling in love with him?
Because I am.
I can't believe you told him that tonight. Like he knew he meant falling in love. My relationship with Ben has been very just like passionate right off the bat, and we haven't really had a lot of chance to talk. I would never say I love you unless I felt it was reciprocated. You know?
I mean, it was reciprocated.
Guys, let me tell you, it was not reciprocated. This girl's crazy.
But don't they always say, doesn't every single one of them say that in every single episode?
Yes.
It's not fair.
However, they usually say it like a little like, you know, we're only like 3 or 4 episodes in. You can't be falling just now. I mean, she's falling in love. She's crazy.
I thought that they honestly said it from the very beginning. That was my impression.
No. All right. So with that one, Amy's in the lead, 2-1 over Vicki.
Who knew?
All right. Next question. This week's group date was a talent show in Vegas. Which talent was not one displayed by a contestant? Was it A, river dancing, B, playing the cello, or C, baton twirling?
I'm going to say playing the cello because, like, where would they get a cello from? Like, she's not taking her cello with her to Las Vegas.
Amy?
Well, having been to many Miss America pageants, river dancing is definitely a thing.
I'm sure it is.
So is baton twirling. It's much rarer to be a cellist. So I am actually also going to go with that.
What is it? Baton twirling?
Well, it's baton twirling.
What a shame.
I know. Actually, Jubilee, who's our war veteran, is a cellist. And that they have the cello somewhere. And the twins were the river dancers.
Okay. So no baton twirling.
No baton twirling.
I'm disappointed.
I know. Aren't we all? All right. And then our last question. In a teaser for next week's episode, Amanda tells the women about her relationship with her children's father. She's a single mom of 2. Olivia, our favorite crazy person, compares the situation to which reality show? A, 16 and Pregnant, B, Teen Mom, or C, I didn't know I was pregnant.
Oh, that's a show. I'm sorry.
I'm not pregnant. That is a show on TLC.
I'm going to say, Amy, you go first.
Maybe Teen Mom, like if she's just kind of trying to make a comparison, that's what I would think of, unless we actually knew that her mom was 16. So that's what I would say.
I was going to go with Teen Mom, but I'm going to go with I didn't know I was pregnant because that would kind of be funny.
All right, roll the clip, Alyssa.
Your ex having them every other week or something, or is it always with
He's
mom?
supposed to. My mom said like this weekend he'll just pick him up Friday after work, and then she'll pick him up Saturday morning.
I feel like it's an episode of Teen Mom that I watch.
What was that?
I feel like it's an episode of Teen Mom. Like,
Awkward. She's so weird. Amy's
the champion.
Came in as a guest on the show and beat Vicki 3-1.
Goes to show I don't need to watch it.
You don't need to watch it. And so I do. I have to watch it.
No one needs to watch
Nobody needs to watch
I don't even need to watch the show, but I do because I love nothing more than quizzing you about its ridiculousness.
Last week with the Kangles was pretty damn
The
funny.
Kangles clip was so good. Do we have the Kangles clip still? Oh, I wish we had it.
Basically, a woman was comparing the fact that
Olivia.
the Bachelor's...
he lost 2 people that were close to him in a plane crash, like that day.
And she commiserated by basically saying...
I have cankles.
I have cankles.
And people like to write blog posts about them.
Yeah.
And she goes, I try to be strong. It was so good. So good. Well, on that note, that's going to end this episode of TV Hangover. Amy, thank you for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
You can come back anytime to talk about the X-Files with Vicki.
But not Erin.
But not with me. We will be here next week. Programming note on Monday instead of our normal Wednesday. But of course, you can always listen to us in the iTunes Store, Spreaker, TuneIn, and many other places. Don't forget to like us on those platforms and follow us on Twitter at TV Hangover Show. And now we're on Periscope at TV Hangover Show. Until next time,